Hello, and welcome to Mind Your Head, a space for people to share their stories, talk openly and honestly about their own mental health challenges, and to give some listeners some comfort in knowing you're not alone. Before we get into today's episode, I want to quickly share something that I've been loving lately. Cooking's always been a big outlet for me. It helps me slow down, switch off, and put my energy to something creative. After a long day, it's honestly one of the best ways I've found to release stress and just reset. That's why I genuinely love HelloFresh. It makes cooking easy, takes the stress out of figuring out what to make, and the meals are actually unreal. So if you're looking for a simple way to eat better, enjoy cooking a bit more, check out HelloFresh. Use the code MindYourHead at checkout for up to $240 off your first 6 boxes. I've always asked my guests, what are your 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life? For me, it's movement, community, and good nutrition. I've learned that what you fill your body with plays a massive role in how you feel physically and mentally. That's why I use True Protein. They're an Aussie brand doing things the right way. Clean, natural supplements with no artificial additives or fillers. Everything's made in-house in Sydney's northern beaches using the highest quality ingredients sourced from around the world. Whether it's supporting energy, improving focus, or reducing fatigue, their products genuinely help me show up better every single day. And just like Mind Your Head, they live by values I stand by. Be true, be you, and take care of your whole self. Tainui, welcome to Mind Your Head, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on today. We had a pretty good morning so far. Had a nice swim and a nice coffee. How are you going today?
I'm going great.
Yeah.
Done a lot of chatting already.
Yeah,
so.
We've done almost a podcast before we even started. I like to do sort of a mental health check-in with the guests as we start off. How's the mind, body and spirit going?
Mine's great.
Yeah, is it?
Yep. All things happening this year and what has happened has been everything I wanted. So the mind is good. Body's a bit sore from the run and some events, but wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
And then spirit's always high. So
is it?
For the rest of the year.
Yeah, nice.
Ready to go. So
it's going to be a big year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's already started good. So
the swim and obviously early morning get-ups, is that your is that sort of your routine to win the day? Is that win the morning?
Yeah, 100%. I love getting up, starting the day before the sun, and especially with work starting at like 6:30. I feel like if I don't do something for myself for the day, all I feel like I've done is just work. Yeah. And then I come home and just sleep and then do it again. You get stuck in that cycle.
You feel a little bit unbalanced.
I need a little win for myself to make me feel like, okay, now I can go do something. Do something else. So.
Yeah, I love that. So you're very like routine based, are you?
Yes, very routine based. Yeah. So just set an alarm and get up and start my day. Otherwise, if I let it drag out, I feel like the whole day follows how you start your day. Yeah. Start slow, you'll be slow all day. So.
Have you always been like that?
Yeah, I think growing up with swimming and training and being pushed into sports and having those things where you have to be there at certain times and being active just made me. That's just the norm now. When I'm not active, that's not normal.
Yeah. It's funny because we talked about earlier about sort of your parents pushing you and stuff, and it's just like it's because of that push that maybe we didn't like when we were growing up, but like that's the thing that set the foundation for our work ethic now and like who we are as people. Like we're thankful for that push, isn't it? Yeah.
It's ingrained in us now.
As much as we didn't like it growing up, like we wouldn't have it any other way though, would we?
No, exactly. It's definitely something that I'm grateful for now that we got pushed into that. Yeah. But like you said at the time, you're like, I just want to sleep in. I don't want to do this.
My childhood. I just want to chill out. Yeah. But now it's just like, it's funny because now, as much as I would crave a sleep in, when it happens, I'm up straight away and I don't have a sleep in.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like my sleep in 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And my wife she's just like, can we please just sleep until like 9 or 10? I'm like, all right, no alarms. Let's just sleep in. No alarms. I still wake up like 5:45, ready to start the day. And I'm just sitting there going, nah, I can't.
What am I doing?
What am I doing? I can't do it.
Especially on a weekend, like if you work all week on a trade site.
You want to make the most of it.
I'm going to sleep in. It's like, I only get 2 days. Why am I going to waste these days sleeping? Exactly. I've got to get up and go.
I get 7 days and I feel like that's not enough. So what you mentioned sort of growing up and getting pushed into sport and stuff. What was home life like for you growing up? Because I think, what we experience as kids growing up, I think it really lays the foundation for who we are as, adults. What was home life like for you growing up?
Home life, very, very busy, very active. From New Zealand originally and then moved over to Australia because Dad worked overseas. So it was just me, my sister and my mum pretty much while he was overseas, but just every sport you could think of, like from rugby to bloody discus, whatever it was, it was like if we did it, it would be like, okay, we're getting training now, like we're going to be our best at that sport and that's what we're going to do. And everything in our house revolved around being active and outdoors. So it was good and met a lot of friends through it and a lot of experiences and got to, travel around and do those things as well. So
It seems like it was like all or nothing type attitude,
Yeah.
where it's just like, if we're going to do something, it's not going to be half-assed. Like
No.
it's either first or last, like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, we're in cross country, so you know they'll fork out some shoes, but it's like, nah, you got to do good. You train every Sunday.
I
You
bought this
run
for
it.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you come on.
Yeah.
Like, we're not here to just be a number and fill in.
Yeah,
We're here to win. So
Yeah. I love
was
that
good.
attitude, eh?
Yeah.
Were your parents good at sport? Were they sort of high achievers as well?
Yeah, mum was really good at sport, and dad was
Yeah.
good at sport too, rugby,
Yeah.
but I think mum was. I'd have to say she's the more talented one.
Just she claiming
Yeah,
that
like
she?
naturally
Yeah,
talented. But just opportunity-wise, coming from a little Māori town in New Zealand, and she was one of 5, and money wasn't like opportunity-wise. I think for us, when we were growing up, they wanted to give us all those opportunities, so she felt like that she never got to experience. But it was good. They did everything for us to put us in the best situations we could.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was great. So.
No, we've spoken a little bit at the beach, how, especially when your parents become grandparents, and it's an opportunity for them to do differently, and and even when you're a parent, you take a little bit of what they did that you liked and what you did that they didn't like, and you sort of mold it into how you like. But I think going back to that, it's your parents did the best they could with what they had. Like, they didn't know any better. They're just trying to be the best parents that they can be.
Yeah. And we're all first-time parents. They haven't done it before.
No, exactly. It's such a good thing, because I used to think back at some of the things that, say, my father did, and really be critical about it. But I've got to realise that's his first time being a dad, and I'm not the perfect son. So why do I hold like such a high expectation for him when I was a little shit? Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't the greatest son. Like, so you got to give each other a little bit of like empathy and a little bit of leeway there, and understand like it's their first time at life as well. They don't have all the answers. As much as you look at your parents and go,
well, they should have done this, they should have done that. It's
they know everything, but they don't.
And they only learnt probably from their parents, and they're 100 times better than what they probably were like. So 100%. For them now, it's like you were saying, we take it all the little bits of the good and the bad, and try to be the best we can be.
Because no doubt our children are going to be like,
you're shit.
Why'd
you do that? Yeah, that was terrible. And I'm like, I just took what I knew, and did my best. So.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You just got to leave with those good intentions and just try to do your best.
I think as long as every generation you do a little bit better than the one that came before you.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
That's something I'll be pushing my kids, and I'll be proud if they can do better than me. You always want them to do better. You don't want them to do worse. So.
Yeah, exactly. Back then, what did it mean to you being a man? Like, what did a man sort of look like in your life?
When I was younger?
Yeah, when you were younger.
My dad's a man, like his old man went to, he was in World War II, and that was kind of like the thing growing up. And I think when I look back to when I was younger, the only way I really got my dad's attention was by doing like manly things. Like if it was rugby, it'd be putting a big hit on or getting aggressive, and and then he'd be like, yeah, that's my son,
Yeah.
But I think for me, that wasn't really like who I was as such. Like I just went out and played rugby like I wasn't. But that was for me, if I got recognised in being a man or like being, a strong boy, that was the things I had to do. So I think, being a man in my eyes is, but also like my dad's very protector of the family. He's someone we can go to, and if we ever have a problem, I know like, hey Dad, like,
Dad's going to be there.
It's sweet, we're sweet. He got us sorted in every aspect. So I think that's also something that, as a soon-to-be dad, I'm trying to also be that person that is that safety and that protector in the family as well, but also someone that, on the flip side, they can come to, and if they need to emotionally talk and be there as well. On that sense, they can also have that connection.
So is that what being a man to you looks like now?
I think so. It's been able to do it all, and
do both.
Yeah. Not be too soft, but not be weak, but also on the flip side, when you need to be strong and you need to protect, you can capable of doing that as well, and you can handle yourself. And,
it's interesting you said that, because that's the same experience I got growing up. Was Dad was very provider, was a safety security provider. Like, you knew that you were taken care of. But in terms of like having that emotional, chats with your dad, it was never there. It was never there. Like,
I wouldn't even try.
No, you wouldn't. Like, I think I tried a little bit, and I just was like, "What did I just do that for?"
What's wrong with you, boy? Something's wrong with me if I'm like crying.
Exactly. So I think growing up, and then obviously going to be a new dad myself, they're like the major changes that I sort of want to take into that, and be like, all right, you got to have two sides of you, where you've got to be that protector, that provider, safety and security, because you've also, like, if your child comes to you, you've got to be open to have those, you know, those conversations and not get awkward or, you know,
or shut it down.
Yeah,
and be
shut
like,
it down.
Oh, just get on with it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, there's obviously something that's causing this.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to talk about it and discuss it.
Yeah, I think having like that father in your life, that healthy connection where you can have those chats, not just with your mum, but also with your dad as well. Because a lot of the things that I sort of went through, and my dad came on the podcast, and he was like, one of the questions was like, what do you think I did wrong? And I was like, oh, that's such a good question, but I don't think you did anything wrong. I think you did the best you could with what you had. Yeah. But I think, to be honest with you, Dad, I don't think you modelled great behaviours in terms of emotional connection and like having these chats. And he was just like, yeah, I know I didn't. Like, I really didn't talk to you guys much about that sort of thing. I just sort of like, you know, I didn't know how to do it himself.
So and he took that all right?
He was so open, like he was really open about it because I went through some really like bad mental health stuff, and Dad was like, I always knew that you were sort of battling your own demons, and like I didn't know how to approach that conversation, and I did like, what did I do that I didn't do or something? And I just said, you didn't model how to be vulnerable. Like, I didn't know how to be vulnerable and share these things because you weren't sharing these things. And he was like, well, I didn't get taught myself how to share these things. So it was all just passed down stuff that, you know, unless someone models it to you or someone teaches it to you, you don't know. Like, you're not going to pick it up. Like, you're just sort of going to watch how your parents sort of do things and go, all right, well, I'll just follow them. Yeah. So that was like such a great conversation to come on the podcast and have with him, because it healed so many things in our lives that either resentment or, you know, even just a general understanding about your parents. Like, I'm not too sure if you've sat down and had a you know, one of those chats with your parents. I know a lot of when that episode came out with my dad, I had a lot of listeners going, I need to like have a sit down with my dad, because there's a lot of things I didn't tell him in my childhood, a lot of things that he kept from me. So there's a lot of like secrecy and growing up with Dad that I would see tendencies come out at him and go, fuck, why is he like that? I don't understand why is he like that. And it wasn't until he came on and he told me everything about his childhood and like how traumatic it was. And his dad was in World War II and he came back an alcoholic and, you know, flogged the kids, and it was just a really traumatic upbringing for Dad. And while he's saying these like stories to me, in my own head, I'm going, oh, I fucking get it.
Now I know.
Now I know. I get it. I can think back to the days when I was younger and I would think, oh, fuck, why is Dad a dickhead? Like, why is he so hard on us? Like, why are these things triggering him? Now I get it. And like, I was 32 at the time. Dad was 68 or something. And it's taken us that long to get to a point to sit down and go, all right, this is what happened. This is why I am the way that I am. And it's healed our relationship. Like, we're best friends. Like, he calls me all the time. He gives me hugs and kisses and like all these things that were a whole different person. And, you know, it's never too late. Like, it's never too late to have that conversation. I always thought to myself, fuck, I wish we had this when I was a lot younger, but I wasn't in a good sort of emotional space to actually receive that and understand what he went through. And I'm sure Dad wasn't in a good space either. So it happened at the right time. But even like that lesson that, you know, I don't want to wait till my child's old to have that sort of chat. Like, I want to express, you know, those things with them earlier on and have this dialogue early on and understand, like, this is what I've gone through. You know, this is why I am the way that I am. So if any, you know, if triggers come up or anything comes up, this is why. You know, have a mutual understanding. So, have you had sort of those chats with your parents at all?
Little bit, not too much. I feel like he is so like set in his ways. You know, that it's just, it is what it is. Definitely a little bit more. Like, I've had some little bits with Mum, and it's crazy. You kind of, when you have parents, you think all you know is them as parents. You don't realise that they were once our age. They were once making stupid decisions, figuring it out, partying, whatever they were doing. Like, they've been through it all. And even growing up, they say, you know, like, don't do this, you know, and this is what happens. And you're like, nah, I still do it. I still have to like touch the pan, see if it's hot. That's like how we figure it out, right? Especially me, I got to figure it out. Like, you could have someone tell me, don't do this, and I'm like, I just have to know.
Please,
like,
I want to learn the hard way.
I reckon I could do it. Like, it's not going to be like that. And then it happens, and they're like, told you. So I think it's just crazy that, like, even now, and about to be a dad, it's like, I want, like you were saying, I want him to know what I was going through and how I was raised and what experiences I had, and so he can understand, like, oh, Dad's this way because of this. Like, why does Dad go train, and why does he have to run to clear his mind or do certain things? It's because what I've been through previously, that's just now how I cope. So it's like, he's just like, well, Dad's always away training, or he's just always off, doesn't care about us. It's like, no, I need to do this to care about me, to then care for you. Like, this is how it's going to work.
I love that attitude because, you know, especially with men, especially with fathers too, it's like, you know, how do you put your family first in terms of like, you know, your own health, or you put yourself first, you put your family first. And there's been this discussion around like, you know, I've always felt selfish before putting myself first, but you know, you've always put, you know, your wife first, your kids first, even work, like you just try to be that provider. But I've changed my mindset around that and thought, like, if I put myself first, like you're just talking about there, get everything in line, your health, your fitness, like everything else, all that other stuff will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Like you're getting the best version of myself if I'm putting myself first, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And if you don't, like you were saying, I feel like if I didn't put myself first and I didn't get to get me right, it's then going to have a worse effect on the family and the baby and, you know, everything else that comes. So I think as men, you need to be like mentally clear and you know, feeling good about yourself, because then that energy carries over into your work, into your relationship, into your parenting, the whole lot.
100%. You talked about sort of just then how you need to go for runs to clear your head. Is that always the case? Like, remember when you were growing up as a kid, how did you think you handled, you know, stress, pressure, you know, if you know, being anxious? Did you sort of let it out playing sport? Was that your outlet to sort of clear your head?
It probably was, but I maybe didn't realize it because we were doing so much sport, and obviously you're not, you know, you're emotionally unaware. You know, as you get older, you sort of figure, this is why, you know, you put two and two together. So I think when I was younger, it was just you just doing it, and that's what made me feel good, and so you just keep doing it, and that's what I enjoyed doing. But it wasn't until I got older and, you know, after a few things, you realize like, no, this is what I need to be doing to, you know, keep me right. Yeah,
you don't recognize it until you get a bit older and go, that's why I love exercise so much, and like that's why like I need it so much in my life. It calms me down, it centers me. But with your kid, like you said, you're doing it so much, you don't realize like the benefits of actually doing it. You think you're just like you're trying to win or get fit or whatever it is, but like the mental clarity that you get from all that exercise is like unmatched.
And there's no, as a kid, it's just you do your sport, you school, like there's no real pressure. You know, there's no pressure to make money, or there's no pressure to pay bills and do certain things. And I think, like even with work, I had like a biggish week this week, and I was saying to one of my mates, I didn't get to train for like one day. Like even if it's just something, like whether it's a walk in the morning or a quick run or a gym, and I had a whole day where I just worked, got up, worked, came home, and that night I was like really like
rattled.
I just was like, this is not good. Like I need it. And next morning I got up and I did like a double training day. I got up and I ran and then I gymmed and Arvo. But to me, that's what I need to do. And it's like I have to do that to make sure that I'm good, that and then work's good, that everything's good. And then you realize like, okay, this is what I need to do. Otherwise, if I did a week with nothing, I would just be like crazy. Like,
I think people like look at that from face value and go, I could never do that. But I think it's just finding whatever it is your therapeutic, you know, practice. You know, like
your outlet.
Your outlet. So I know some people, like my partner, my wife, she has her own way of her outlet, you know. So we'll go to the gym, and I'm going to the gym to flog myself. I'm at the verge of either throwing up or getting close to throwing up. So we used to go to gym together, and it would be funny because I would push her so much, and she goes, Elliot, you got to realize, like, I'm going to the gym for a different reason to you. Like, this is your, you know, this is how you clear your head and like, you know, your therapeutic sort of practice. But for me, my thing is like reading a book or going for a walk on the beach. That's how I sort of clear my head. I'm doing this to sort of, you know, get a little bit of fitness and get the body moving, but I'm not here to like...
but it's not a thing that
it's not a thing, exactly. So I think a lot of people sort of listening got to realize like, it doesn't have to be sort of, you know, flogging yourself in the mornings. It could be as simple as walking the dog, or you know, I know a lot of people get into meditating and breath work and that sort of thing. Whatever your niche is, you've just got to find it and stick to it and understand if it works for you, it works for you.
Keep at it.
What do you think has shaped you most growing up as a kid?
Probably going through the sickness I had. If I had to take one big thing away from my childhood, that was definitely the biggest moment where I learned the most, and you know, I got a lot of values from that moment.
Let's go into it.
Dive into that.
Let's dive into that. So where were you when you found out?
Maroochydore.
Yeah.
So went and got the night before. I was just feeling tired, like the couple of months leading up to it. I was obviously active. I'd come home from swimming and it would be, you know, normally I'd go off and I would surf the rest of the day as a, you know, as a kid, be in the sun, train, you know, do everything. I just come home and just crash like in my togs after swimming, just on the bed, just sleep. And then I did a race and did average, and I was like, oh, this is weird. And then the night before, I like had a mozzie bite, scratched my leg, went all like purple, bruised straight away, and it was the weirdest thing. And I just sort of knew, like I've said this before, but I like knew something wasn't right, and I actually knew I had cancer. It was the weirdest thing.
Really?
Like in that moment, I looked out and I was like, damn. It was just
something bad.
Something bad. It wasn't good, and you know,
But you had some gut feeling that you're just thinking this is not good.
Yeah, and I tell people, they're like, you knew, and I'm like, I don't know if there's other people out there that have been in similar situation, or especially cancer or something life-threatening like that. Like I just got this whole feeling that came over me where I was like, you have cancer, and this is what it's going to be. I don't know how it was going to look or what it was going to be like, but I knew in that moment that that's my answer. And I remember coming out and I said to Mum, like, oh Mum, like look at this. And just seeing her like face almost like look at it and be like, it like reassured me.
Oh, so she knew as well.
Well, she just knew like that's not good,
that's
you know.
Not good,
and then we jumped on Dr. Google as you do, and it's like
the worst
scratched
thing ever.
leg, purple, bruising, cancer, boom, came up, and I'm just like, there you go, there's my answer. And they were like, no, don't be stupid, like it says that for everything. And they were like looking, it might have been like glandular fever or had like a tick, so they were like looking through my hair, seeing if I had a tick. And went and got blood tests the next morning because Mum's like, we better get it checked. And I didn't want to show 'em my leg, you know, as a 17-year-old boy, and me knowing what I think it's going to be, I was sort of prolonging that answer. Like I didn't want to hear that news. And I told him everything, and then Mum's like, show him your leg. And I was like, no, shh, don't worry. And then she's like, no, show him. And then I showed him, and then just like his face again was just like, damn. Like he was like, you know, could have set him back a bit. And I was like, this isn't good. And then made me go get bloods. That afternoon, drove to training. As I get to training, Mum rings, hey, you need to come back. You know, the bloods are back. And I was like, you know, if you're going back in to get blood results, that can't be good either. And I said, no, tell them next week I'll be back. Like, I just gonna. We had like a Sydney trip booked for surf lifesaving, and I said, no, I'll just come back next week. And then, Mum's like, no, you need to come back now. So, drove back, and it was sort of that drive back. It was about a half an hour drive. I was just dead silence, but just knew what I was going in for, and it was just sort of like, what's life going to look like, you know, moving forward from here.
What did it look like? And what was the diagnosis too?
Yeah, so I had diagnosed with leukemia, so I had ALL.
Yeah.
So got into the doctors, and it was busy, and I remember we were sitting there for half an hour waiting, and just sort of knew, and he was in with another patient, and then he called my name and went in and told us. And to me, like 17, hearing you have leukemia, to me, I didn't really know what that looked like. I wasn't really around anyone that was affected by cancer in my circle, so I didn't even know, like, you know, I knew of cancer, but
how bad is this?
How bad is it? Like, what does it entail? Like, what's it going to look like? Like, no idea. So for me, I think being told you have leukemia, I was just like, okay, like, what does that mean?
When can I go back to training?
Yeah, like, what's that? Like, am I good to go now? Or like, whereas Mum, she like broke down. It was like on the ground crying, like this heaving, like, and I'm like, I think that shocked me more, you know, seeing her go through that. And like even now when I think about it, it just sort of like hits me about, like, you know, that moment is crazy, and I almost felt for like her more than myself, you know, for like what that, because her dad passed away from cancer, so she'd been around that, she'd seen the effects, and it was like now it's like happening again, you know, like. So I was just sort of so unsure, so unclear, and I had to ring my dad, and I had to ring my coach and tell my sister because Mum, you know, couldn't. So it was me being like, hey, I've got this, and like, you know, it was like, it was a weird moment in time where I was just so unsure of what was happening. And then that night, it's like we went straight home, and it's packed bags, and I'm heading down to Lady Salento, the Children's Hospital that night. Like, so in that split second, it was life change, you know, training, just about to start year 12 in 2 days, like looking forward to my last year. I'm enjoying school, and then it's just like, bang, this is your life now. And I'm heading to the hospital with a bag packed, like going to something so like unsure. I didn't know. I had so many questions that no one could answer. Yeah, which was like the craziest thing. Like,
so how long was the treatment? Like, what did you get? Was it chemo? Was it?
Yeah, so chemo. Yeah. So got there. Obviously, they did all the bloods and got into the hospital, and so grateful. I ended up I was 17, so I was on the edge of being either pushed into an adult hospital or children's, and I'm so grateful looking back that I went to a children's because Mum could stay around kids, and nurses are a bit more energetic, and so I got there, and they did some tests, and then obviously you had leukemia, and that night stayed the night, and it's still like, what's going on? And then oncologist came through the next morning, and they're sort of like introducing themselves, and hey, this is what treatment's going to be, and then they were like, so treatment for you being 17 and high risk is 3.5 years. And I'm like, when they said that, I was like, wait, okay, 3.5 years like of chemo? And they're like, yeah, that's how long your treatment's going to be. And I'm thinking like 3.5 years, like, and obviously I went into the ward where other kids were, and I started seeing like these kids, and I'm still, you know, fit, healthy as such as a parent, but you're seeing these kids walk around and you're like, like it's a whole world where you're just like everything just that you thought you were, you know, ungrateful. You're like, I feel so lucky, like in here. And then seeing that, and then also finding out 3.5 years, and the first year was just chemo every week, Wednesday for a whole year. I just pretty much lived at the children's hospital in a room, and I was getting lumbar punctures every month. So 12 lumbar punctures that year, and I reckon I had close to like 30 over the whole time.
What's that?
So that's where they put chemo. So leukemia is a blood cancer, so they got to make sure everything's covered. So I was getting chemo in my like spinal fluid, so they had to put a needle between my spine and my lower back, go between the vertebrae, and then put chemo through that. And then I did like 4 or 5 awake too, and it was just like
most pain.
Just the whole feeling, the sensation of a needle, and if they miss, they hit your back, like your bone. And I was getting real shaky. It got to the point where I was full shaking, like just in, I guess, nerves, or like, you know, not like, can you just get it right and make sure it goes through? And
Please.
Please, like I don't want to.
So you had 30 of them over the course of time?
Yeah, because it was like every month for a year, and then it pushed out to like every couple months for the next time. And then but I was getting put to sleep, and then they were like, oh, you can, you know, not fast, and you can eat brekkie, and you just got to do it awake. So I'm thinking like, cool, I'll eat brekkie. No, there's a feeling of that. And then I had a port put in my chest, so it was like looked like a big milk cap that stuck out. And obviously you get, you know, I got down to like 50 kilos, lost all my hair, like everything you think a cancer patient looks like, it actually happened, you know. And they tell you like, oh, you know, do I lose my hair, or will I be able to do this? And they don't want to say like, yes you do, or no you don't. They just say, oh, everyone's different, you know, everyone's different, but we all look the same in there. You know, we're all that exact look of, you know, death pretty much, sick. And like, never had to get in feeding tube, which I was grateful for. Dad's always like, eat, or you're going to get one. But I vomited every night, twice a day for 8 months straight. I reckon. Yeah, just vomit. Just eat all day, have like a big dinner, vomit. Just start again, eat, vomit. Like I couldn't hold anything down. You just crave sugar, and cancer feeds off sugar, and you know, it was just all those things.
What was the hardest part for you? Like even just walking in there, you said, you know, you walked in there like, you know, fit and healthy, but you're looking around the room seeing a lot of sick kids, and then all of a sudden, fast forward months, your hair's fallen out, you've lost 50 kilos. Like, was that a massive realization? Going, fuck, it's hit me. Like I'm in this.
Yeah, I think obviously being, you know, 17 and just done year 12, I was always a bit like hateful towards the world. You know, like why me? I never drank, I never went to parties, I was fit, I was, you know, the fittest in my year. I was like always doing things, and it's like,
what do I deserve this?
Yeah, how can this happen to me? Like I looked after myself, and this happened. Like this isn't right. And I remember on my like Instagram was, you know, coming out, and I just couldn't even go on my phone to look because it was just very hateful. I was like, this shouldn't be me. Like this is so unfair. And just being stuck in that room, I used to just go sit in the shower for like 4 hours till I got wrinkly, just sit there because it was the only way to pass time. And you can only watch so many shows, and before you're looking at a screen and you're like, I can't do this anymore.
You're in lockdown.
You're locked in there and just bedridden, and you can't do anything. Like you're just non-stop doctors and nurses coming in, and I think there was a lot of like hate to start like that journey, and it was also like a lot of unsureness too, and then a lot of little setbacks amongst all that as well that were hard to deal with.
What was the turning point? What was sort of the time where you had to sort of, because there is a, you know, a healthy time and a healthy period where you've got to mourn. You've got to mourn that old version of you and understand, and also like there will be at times where you are resentful and you are, but I think those moments are healthy. I think you've got to go through that to let it out. Yeah. But there comes a turning point, or it comes a moment in time where you've got to go, all right, well, there's no point being hateful to the world. I've got to like look at it and go, all right, I've got to get myself fit, healthy. I've got to get through this period of time so I can get out the other end. Yeah. What was the turning point for you where you've just gone, all right, I've got to I've got to change my mindset around this.
It's funny you say that because I always tell people that as much as I was hateful against what had happened, I always knew I'd be okay.
Did you?
Yeah, in my mind, I was always like, okay, well, if anyone's going to get through this, I know in my family, I'm the one who's going to get through this. And I know that I'm mentally strong enough. It's just a season in my life. And I knew one day I was going to use this for something. I wasn't sure what, I wasn't sure how, or, you know, I just knew it was going to be something that was part of my story, and I got to hopefully use that in a way that can have a positive effect on people or help motivate people. And I think having that mindset, being in hospital and seeing, you know, I don't know how other kids thought, or just having that mindset alone was such a big factor in me getting through my treatment. And I feel like your mind's a lot more powerful than what you think. You know, you tell yourself, I'm going to die and this is the end. Unfortunately, you probably will,
yeah.
But I knew that this is just part of my story, and this is part of me, and I'm going to get through this. As much as it was still so shit going through that, I just knew that there was going to be light at the end of it.
Yeah.
So that was like a big thing in my mind, where it was just like, okay, today's been shit, but it's just one day less.
One day down.
One day down.
Yeah. So how long was it in total?
3.5 years.
So you did the full 3.5 years in hospital?
Oh, no. So first year in hospital.
First year in hospital, yeah.
Pretty much straight.
Yeah.
Just didn't leave, lived there.
Yeah.
You just, everything, like I said, everything a cancer patient looks like, that was me. Like,
that was you, yeah.
Down and out, and then that was like the intense year block, and then after that year it went to maintenance for 2.5 years, which is still ages. So still oral chemo every night for the whole pills, like for the whole 3.5 years.
Wow.
And then it went to monthly through my port, and then 3 monthly lumbar punctures. But in that maintenance, you know, your hair starts growing back a little bit, and you start being, you know, able to get back to things. And I was still at home and still really weak, but parents, again, being my parents, they were like, right, you're home, you're not going to sit around the house all day.
Were they?
Yeah, especially Dad, you know, he'd come home from his thing, and I swear he'd come and vacuum my room, bro, just to wake me up, and he'd be like smashing it on the wall and being like, come on, get up. And I'd be like watching a movie, and I'm like, fuck, come on,
But
man.
you love that, eh? Because it's probably exactly what you needed, eh?
Yeah.
Just to get you out of that sort of
And that was, I think, his way of coping with it, was like, he didn't want to see me like that, you know, so for him, it's like, the sooner I get back on my feet and doing normal things, the sooner this whole family, you know, it becomes normal.
Yeah, for sure.
So he was like, you know, you're not going to sit around here, you're going to get up, you're going to get a job, like, let's go. And I'm still like, I'm bad at this point still. Like, I look back at photos and I'm like, holy, there's no way I look like that.
It's probably his way of love too.
Yeah, that was his way of like, come on, like this, you know, let's get back into it all. And I remember even during my year, he'd be like, let's go for a walk, like bring your drip and your bag, your chemo, and let's go. And I'm like, I can't walk. And he'd try and make me do laps of the ward. And I'm the only kid just like shuffling around this ward, like trying to get round, just getting some steps in.
Yeah.
And it was just like.
But it's crazy when you think about it now that probably put you in good stead to do the 100K run. Like that mentality around, like, if I can do this when I'm sick, if your dad's like, you can shuffle. If you can shuffle, you can still do something. Yeah. And I just think back to sort of when you're doing the 100K run that we'll talk about later on, that you're doing the shuffle.
The shuffle.
You're just trying to get through it.
As long as it's forward.
Yeah, as long as it's forward.
As long as it's something.
Yeah. Did your parents share that same mindset around, you know, you're saying that I can get through this? You know, I'm going to make it out. Do you reckon your mum had that same sort of mindset, or was she still, you know, pretty worried around the result or how you're going to end up?
I think it's you know, someone who goes through cancer, everyone who's in that close bubble has a different experience. Like, it's so different. Everyone's vastly different. Like, for my sister, it was, you know, mum, dad, all their attention was on me. So she felt like she was left out, and she sort of went down a little bit of like, you know, a different path. Whereas you think it might like motivate her to be like, yes, I'm going to do my, it might, you know, it was hit her different. And then with Dad, it hit him differently, and obviously he still had to work and fund it, and we weren't Aussie citizens, so it cost a lot for me to go through treatment, and it was very expensive. And for Mum, she was then with all the other mums in the hospital, they sort of get together, and you know, during that time, I still envision, like, you know, some of the kids and that didn't make it, and obviously Mum was there with them, and you know, they had their mum's group, and it's like, oh, she passed away, and you're like, oh, fuck, you're in there too, like, it's brutal, and you're watching all these other little journeys, and so I think everyone experiences it different. And I don't know if she felt like I was, you know, there was a couple close times where, looking back, I was like, oh, you know, I was in ICU for a couple of weeks, but like I said, with me, I always knew I'd be okay, you know, even though I was in ICU, it's just a little complication, I'll be right, you know. But for her, it might have been like, you know, a lot more serious than what I was thinking. Yeah. So I might have been a bit naive to it all, but that was just how I thought and how I thought I was going to get through it.
I love that. What do you think the hardest part was mentally for you? especially at an age where I'm just thinking like, how old were you? 17?
17, yeah.
Especially at an age where you're going into high school, and I remember back when I was sort of going into high school, and it was a lot about like, getting girlfriends or going to parties.
You think you're
and
so cool.
You think you're the coolest in the world, and like, you're trying to be that, that popular kid, but all of a sudden, your appearance changed completely. Everything that your identity almost completely changed as well. What was the hardest part for you mentally, do you think?
I think that, like what I was saying before, seeing that those kids, my childhood, or not childhood, but those teen years, and important teen years too, you're just trying to find yourself, and it was like they were just stripped away, and I never got to experience that. Like I never got to experience finishing school, and at the time, like now I look back at it, I'm like, that doesn't really matter, but at the time, they're big things, as a kid, you're getting your license, you're finishing school, but I think for me, like movement and just being active was such a big thing in my life. And when that was just stripped away, like I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't pass a footy, couldn't shoot hoops, I couldn't swim in the ocean. Like everything. When that was gone, it was just like this whole, made me appreciate my body and my health as like the biggest privilege you'll get. But it was also so hard that I couldn't do it, that it was like mentally, I was like, this fucking sucks. Like I don't know what I'm going to do. And knowing that it was 3.5 years, and I was still at a time where I didn't know the next 2.5 would get a little bit better. It was still hard, but it was a bit better. In my mind, I'm thinking, this is me for 3.5 years. Like I'm going to be 22 coming out the other side. Like I just lost 3.5 years of life to this. So that was definitely the mentally hardest.
What did it change about what you really cared about in life?
It obviously, it puts all the big things that you think are big, they just go out the window. You're stressing about the littlest things, and you're just like, that is so stupid. Like everything you thought you cared about is completely gone, and now you only care about one thing, and that's just your health and getting through that moment. And I think also seeing other kids in there too, it made me appreciate my situation. Like I felt lucky being in the ward, on that cancer ward, seeing some of the kids, they'd come in with all their limbs and they would have tumours, and then 2 weeks later they roll past in a wheelchair with no leg, and you're just like, damn, like, that's crazy. And you're seeing that too the whole time, and I think that, when I was seeing that, it would make me realise like, holy shit, I'm lucky, but to someone else looking in, they're like, he's so unlucky, but it's just the situation you're in and what you see.
What perspective
you have. So perspective was definitely like one of the biggest things I learned, and that's something that's carried over.
I can see
those values into my life today, and how I train and show up for myself, and what I try, not get to me, and what, situations I don't let it bother me.
The little things anymore, eh? And even when it's, when you have all these problems, but as soon as you have a health problem, you have no other problems.
No other problem, mate. That's it. That was the only thing that I cared about was my health and getting that back, and being healthy. And too many people like take their health for granted. We were talking about this morning, but it's like I try to tell them my story and try motivate and share them that way. But I think until you really experience something with your health, like you're saying, we touch the pan, find it's hot. Unfortunately, as humans, it's like you really have to do it yourself to realize, and then it's like shit. But I'm trying to obviously let people know and push people to find a little bit more in themselves.
Did you ever experience any sort of like health anxieties once you got you sort of finished your chemo, obviously went into remission, everything's all good? Was there a point afterwards where there was a bit of health anxiety, like, is this going to come back? Am I done with it? Was there anything like that? Or were you pretty much, as soon as you're cleared, you're good, you're like, back to...
I think as much as I said I knew I was going to be okay, I always tried very hard in my head to envision me being a grandparent, me getting to an old age and being like, this is what my life's going to look like. I'm not going to have this again. This will just be a story I get to share, And I still really try to envision that. Like if I'm feeling a bit like on edge with my health or something, I'll just take 5 and I'll just sit there and just like picture me in the future with like grandkids running around. Because I love that. And I think that just keep reminding your mind that's just how it's going to be, and that's what it's going to be. And that just keeps me in a positive headspace. And obviously when you finish treatment, they say, you got a higher risk of it coming back, and I don't even want to entertain that shit. I'm like, nah, I don't even want to hear that. Like, they have this bell you ring when you finish.
I know.
I didn't ring the bell.
Didn't you?
Nah, because I just feel like, I don't know, like that's just such a jinx thing in my mind. Like, that's just my personal experience. Like, people rang it all
they
the
rattled,
time.
but you didn't want to ring the bell?
They're like, do you want to ring it? I said, oh no, I'm not ringing that.
I'm not
Get me out of here.
I'm
I'm not ringing this. Because I saw kids ring it and come back. Like I saw kids relapse, ring it,
Yeah.
and come back again, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, like
I
I
love
just
that.
don't feel like that's what I need
Yeah.
to do. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I did my time and I got through it, and
Yeah.
now
I can move on.
move on, you know.
I'm going to live a long, healthy
live a
life.
long, healthy
yeah.
life, and I envisioned that so clearly, and I still do now. And I still had times like with the health, like I'll get a bit of a cold, and I was still doing like 3 monthly bloods, and then it pushed to 6 monthly.
Yeah.
Now it's yearly blood still.
Mm.
I still get nervous, like when I get my blood
Yeah,
test, or like
yeah.
I'll do the weird, like I'll scratch. I do this. I tell Riley all the time, I got to do a scratch test, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, you know, I just scratch my leg, just to, like in my eyes. That's my leg.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but I
Yeah.
know it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But I just, like you were saying, it's
Yeah,
just things, habits I think
Yeah.
I've built up and learned that I'll never lose
Yeah, yeah.
because of that. You know,
Yeah.
what happened from that. So
If you could tell yourself one thing, you know, from what you learnt during that season of your life, what would you say?
there's life after cancer.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned now is
Mm.
that even though it sucks and even though it's hard, there's this life waiting for you after cancer that is almost like you have an upper hand and is almost better than the average person. Like you get to take these lessons you've learned and all these values and things you've, you know, learned and built along the way, and you get to live this life almost at a different frequency and
Yeah,
a
you
different
do.
level to other
Yeah.
people because you've got to experience that.
Mm.
So in my eyes, I see cancer as like, it's a blessing. Like I never, you know, have any regret towards it or, you know, hate towards it now. Like I wish that never happened. You know, to me, I'm like, it's not like glad it happened,
No.
but it, you know, it happened. I
Yeah.
can't not control that, but I
Yeah.
got to control how I now live my life
Exactly.
outside of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you have two choices. You either get
Yeah.
you either use pain or get used by pain.
Yeah.
And right now, you're that pain that you're using that pain to sort of you know, live a life that you want to live.
Mm.
You know, that you get, and it's amazing that your sort of outlook you have in life is that, you know, your perception becomes your reality. We talked about if you think you're going to get sick,
You're gonna get sick.
If you think you're going to have a shit life afterwards, or
Yeah.
if you're going to be worried around the sickness, that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So it's all about just changing your mindset around it. And I saw a post you did about giving up alcohol,
Mm.
because that was one of the biggest changes I made in my life. Did you do that sort of straight after chemo, or did you go through a period where you were sort of partying and drinking at all? Or what was the catalyst for you going sober?
Yeah, so finished chemo, that was like 22. Obviously missed out on all that nightlife. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
really drink on chemo,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think I did a couple times and it just rocked me. Like
It
my
would've.
liver was already functioning, all the chemo,
Yeah.
processing that. So I was just hungover for like days, just feel terrible. And alcohol is not really the best thing to be drinking.
No.
So didn't really do that. And then as I got a bit older, I had a little phase where I started drinking and was just a complete idiot. And I think it was that 18-year-old me, you know, never got to experience that, was experiencing that.
Trying
and
to catch up a
yeah,
little
and
bit,
it was
yeah,
always like, oh, what if, you know, what is this like, or what's this like? And I never got to do that. And I went through that season of my life where drinking, and I would hate it. Like I hate that I'd even do it. So I'd get to the point where I'd like get blackout drunk because I didn't even want to know I was out.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I didn't want to be actually
Yeah.
there and be like, oh, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
nah, let's just get so drunk that I don't even remember. I wake up like, I actually have no recognition of
Yeah.
this. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then so obviously started drinking, and it was only just weekend drinking. It wasn't like I've never drank like during week, like school nights or whatever. School nights.
School nights.
That's
During the
like,
week?
During the week,
Yeah, yeah.
school night. And then I actually ended up having like a heart attack at 25 as well.
Did ya?
Yeah. Yeah, so they reckon I got myocarditis. Nothing, not vax related. I didn't get any of that
Yeah,
COVID
yeah.
vaccine. And yeah, just woke up one day and my chest was really sore, and I was like, that's weird. And yeah, that night, not many people know I had that as well because of the cancer thing was like so much bigger than
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It was sort of, I just like kept it on a D-low, and yeah, woke up one night and like 3 a.m, and I was like, I thought I was gonna die. I like literally looked at the ceiling and I was like, this is it. This is where I go. And my heart felt like it was about to just like rip out my chest. Like I was rolling around my bed like in pain. Yeah, just unbearable.
Yeah.
And I was living at the time with two mates in a flat. And I just remember I didn't want to wake them up because it was like 3 a.m. and I was like, that's an inconvenience and I'm not going to ring the ambo and you know. And then I ended up falling back to sleep and I woke up that morning and I was like, holy shit, I'm alive. Like that was crazy what just
Yeah.
happened. And then my chest was just so tight, like just walking up, my heart rate would be like 110, like just, anyway, I went to work and I told my tradie, I was like,
Went to work.
yeah, I was like 110, and I was like, went to work and Maitreya's like, come on, man, I'm so puffed. My chest is sore as. Yeah, rang mum and she's like, that's not good. Like, maybe keep an eye on that. And then went to sleep that night, same thing happened, but it wasn't as bad. It was still like bad, but I was like, oh, it's getting better, you know? It'll probably just be a week of this.
Maybe a couple of days.
Yeah, and I'll be right.
It's funny our theory around like that.
Well, it's not as bad as last night, so it's probably all right.
Not as bad as cancer either, so it can't be that bad.
And that's what I always related to that to, you know? That's still what I do. And anyway, I was like, nah, mum's like, you got to go get it checked and fine, whatever. And I just hate going back to hospitals because of that time. Like hospitals, even the smell of a hospital for me, it just triggers so much shit. I'm like, I can't be here. I feel like I'm getting sick in a hospital. And I just went in and I was like, oh, hey, I got chest pains, whatever. And then they did a blood test and my troponin was like through the roof, like, which is like a thing that gets released apparently when your heart goes through like a severe amount of stress. So straight away they like ran back. They had like defib doctors. I was in the resus for like, just like, what is going on?
Not again.
Yeah, not again. And anyway, spent like a few nights in hospital and they had to keep monitoring that. And it took like, had to take like rest for like 2 months, do nothing. And yeah, that was like another whole thing.
What? So how did that come on? Do they tell you how that came on?
They reckon I got COVID, the flu or whatever it was.
Oh, right.
And that caused, like super rare case can cause myocarditis. That's what they told me. So it was enlarged heart, my heart being through stress. So it was like, that's what it was. And
fuck, you've been through it.
Had to go through it, see like a specialist and monitor it, and had to get a scan of my heart. It was a lot bigger than what I was when I was 17 when I got a scan before I started my chemo, so they could compare that. And then we just had to monitor it and watch it for a bit. But in my eyes, to me, that was just like, it just seems so like not really a big deal. Because of the other things. But you know, people see some posts I do about that, and they're like, "Did you have a heart attack?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's all good, bro. Like, don't worry about that."
I love how blasé you're around like these sorts of things. It's almost become, unfortunately, it's almost become normal. Like these sorts of things where you can just be like, and plus your attitude towards it, you can just like
brush it off. Which is probably not good. Like I probably should take more.
But also, I love that attitude because it's brushing it off is probably better than hyperfixating on it and like really like stressing about it, because stress can also bring on a heart attack too.
So
it's
like the biggest heart attack.
Probably the best thing for you to do is be calm and always nonchalant about it.
But that's going back to your question on drinking. So after that was around like 25. That's when I went and saw a specialist, and he's like, alcohol was like the biggest poison. It actually gets filtered through your heart, and it's like the worst thing you can do. And I sort of was like in a bad place with myself as well, just being silly and being stupid. And I sort of, was just doing things I wouldn't normally do, just trying to make up, I guess, for time of when I missed out and just
thought that's what I needed to do.
That's what I needed to do, and I look back now, and it's probably what I needed to do, just to
get it out of
that and get it out of my system and experience that. And that's when I sort of stopped drinking. I had like 3 months sober, and then I dabbled in it again a little bit, and then ended up, me and Riley came back together, and we were building that relationship up again. And when I was with her, I was just like, no, if I want to do this right and be someone, she can, love for the rest of her life and be someone that I need to be for her as well. And respect myself, and I need to not, alcohol doesn't serve me any purpose. It's not going to help me get to a point where me and her are great, or, our relationship is better than ever. So it's like, why even do it if it's something that's not helping me get to my goal?
Exactly.
So I just did push it to the side. Nothing good came from it for me. It was either, I was someone that it was none or 100. So it was like, I'm not going to just go and have 100 and ruin, and ruin something that is good and building, with where I want to go in my life. So to me, it was just easy, just no call. And then I'm a very competitive person too. So I got like 3 months in, and I was like, let's keep going. And 6 months, and now it's over a year now. And
the best
thing ever. And you were saying you're 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, and you feel so clear and you're good. And
this episode is brought to you by TLC Recovery Centre on the Sunshine Coast. Head to TLC Sunshine Coast, use the code TLC15MYH to receive 15% off and experience it for yourself.
Mate, I wish, it resonates a lot with me, because I've been sort of drugs and alcohol clear for 2 years, and I wasn't always a big drinker, but drinking was the gateway for me to do drugs. That was like, especially in the rugby culture, it's something that I want to change now with young kids coming through. But in the footy culture, is drugs and alcohol is just part of the system, and I thought you needed to do that to fit in, to be welcome into the team, all that sort of stuff. And also, like, early 20s, not knowing how to regulate myself in a healthy way, not knowing how to process feelings and emotions, and just thought numbing it by drugs and alcohol was the easiest and best way to do it. Knowing what I know now, it is the worst thing you could possibly do. but yeah, I felt the same thing as you, man. Like I just felt like it wasn't serving me. I was a worse person for it. Nothing good came from it. I wanted to give it up for years before I actually did. I was always thinking about, I don't like it. I don't like the person that I am. It brings out the worst in me. Why do I keep doing it to fit in? Like, why do I have to, like, you know, if I'm around the boys, why do I have to have a drink or get on it with them? And I honestly thought I would lose a few friends because of it. So I was really hesitant, and I was still a little bit insecure about who I am as a person too. So I was like, man, if I lose friends, like, what am I going to do? But it wasn't until that I did a lot of work on myself and, you know, understanding who I am and almost putting boundaries in place where I was like, oh, I don't want to be this person anymore. Like, I don't like that version of me. And as soon as I sort of cut it out, it's almost like that love and that respect that you have for yourself. And it was honestly the best thing that I've done. And it's been 2 years now, and I've got a few mates on board as well. Like, they're sort of like seeing the benefits of it, and like a lot of them are trying for kids. And obviously, you know, a heavy drinking when you're trying for kids isn't the best thing. It's terrible. So a lot of them were sort of having troubles conceiving, and I was like, why don't you just give it a rest for a couple of months and see what happens? And they'd give it a rest, and they got pregnant straight away. And they're like, oh fuck, maybe there's something to this. And I'm like, there is something to this.
100% there's something to it.
But what I really found was that I would drink in social situations because I had a lot of social anxiety. I was really anxious about going in social settings and knowing what to say and who to talk to. So I'd always have a drink, and it would always give you like that liquid courage or that confidence. And I'd almost be like a different version of myself, where I'd be a lot more funnier or charming or whatever that thing is. That's what I thought was going on in my head. But what reality was, I was a bit of an asshole, like really. And I had a mate pull me aside one day, and we were out in the piss, and he was like, oh, I don't know what I said to spark this conversation with him, but he pulled me aside and he said, when people don't know you, they think you're a nice guy, but if they get to know you, you're a bit of a fucking asshole. And I was like, and it sobered me up so quickly, and I was like, what? What, do you think I'm an asshole? Like, what the hell? And it really like gave me some self-awareness to actually look in from a different point of view and see how I'm acting or how I'm talking to people, how I'm treating people, and going, yeah, you're right. You're like, I am a fucking asshole. Like, why am I choosing to be an asshole for? And that decision to sort of cut it all out was, one of the best decisions. It served me as a person, especially the husband that I want to be, the father I want to be. I want to have these healthy habits in place before I have kids. And I honestly love it. I wish I did it years ago.
Do you think you'll ever drink again?
Nah.
Done.
Yeah, I've done. I've like you. I've gone through the party scene. I've done it for too long. I know what it feels like to be hungover. I know what it feels like to have a good night. Like some of the boys will be like, oh, you missed out on last night. I go, what did I miss out on? Like, what actually happened that we hadn't done before? Unless Leonardo DiCaprio flies in on his private jet and flies you to Vegas, unless that happens,
it's the same.
It's the same shit, you know. And
no different.
I'll never go back to it. It's also like, not drinking is also, because I was getting that social anxiety. When you don't drink and go to social situations, it forces you to address the things that you're trying to numb in the first place. So like, why did I feel like I had to drink to fit in? Like why? And a lot of it was like how I viewed myself. So did I not think I was worthy enough to chat to someone if I wasn't, you know, a different version of me, or trying to put on a mask or trying to be funnier and stuff. So it really like forced me to go through therapy and understand like what is it, like what are you trying to mask? Do you not love yourself? And a lot of it came back to like self-worth. And then so not drinking obviously great for your body, great for your health, all that sort of stuff, but it forced me to really fix the issues that I was sort of avoiding for so many years during my 20s. So I had so many benefits like that, but I'll never go back again.
And you find a lot about who you are when you're not drinking, like when you say in a social setting, it's like, if you can stand there and tell people, because everyone asks, like, well, have a beer, and you're not drinking. Like, why? What? Like, people go, are you religious? Like, I'm like, no, it's a choice. It's a health choice. It's like, but if you're not confident in your own choice, that's when you're going to just fall back into the trap and start drinking. I think there's a lot of people out there too that, like you were saying, want to quit. But they're scared of being in that lonely phase of life where your only friends now are the Friday, Saturday nighters. They're not your real friends. They're just people that you socialize with. You think you're friends, but when push came to shove, are they going to be there for you, or are they just your drinking buddies? And that's what I think a lot of people they have these big groups of friends, and I only have a couple of real true friends, you know, and
that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
But it's like when you have these big groups, it's like it's scary. I've had people message me like, "How do you like do it in the social setting? Like, did you lose friends? And did you are going to probably lose friends, and you might be in this phase of loneliness. But that's where you find out who you are, and that's what you need to do. So then, when you move into that next phase of life and you meet people, it's like, oh, this is someone that I want to be a part of, because it aligns perfectly with you.
It resonates exactly with you. And I remember going to we do for the NRL Grand Final for the last 8 years, we do a silly Sunday on the NRL Grand Final when all the boys get together. We dress up as our favourite NRL players, and we get on it. They're big day, like it's a big day.
Yeah.
Like we start at 8 in the morning, we don't finish till 1 the next day. Like they're big. It's a massive day. And for the last 7, 8 years, everyone gets on it. Everyone drinks. And 2 years ago when I was like, oh, I've quit drinking, and the boys like, oh, so you're not coming to Silly Sunday? I was like, no, I'm coming. I'm fucking coming. I'm dressing up. They're like, what? I'm like, I'll sober drive. I'll drop everyone where they need to go, but I'm fucking coming. And they're like, are you sure you're not going to crack? And I was like, no, like I'm very hard-headed and I'm very stubborn that when I make a decision, no one is going to stop me from following through with it. Like I don't care the peer pressure, I don't care any of that stuff. As soon as I make a call, like I'm following through with it. And I tell the boys and they forgot that I was sober the whole day. So they were like having these massive emotional chats, like D&Ms with me and like telling me their life stories and all this sort of stuff. And like the next day I would like catch up with them and I'm like, you told me that. And they're like, oh no, I didn't. And I'm like, bro, I was sober the whole day. And they're like, were you? And I was like, I remember everything. But I tell them and I was like, oh, so I did that for 7 years and you do all the drugs and alcohol in the world. And I did that I did that 1 year where I was sober 2 years ago. And it was by far the best. Yeah. It was by far the funnest. Like I was so much more present and enjoying the moment and like seeing little things like conversations, remembering conversations, all these funny moments that you would miss when you're under the influence. I got to remember it all. Yeah. I go, boys, it was by far the funnest time. But also like going back to, when people ask you, oh, are you religious or is something wrong? Isn't it weird how
something wrong with you?
Is something wrong with you? Isn't it weird that our Australian culture, I know there's cultures around the world, but especially here in Australia where if you're not drinking, you're the odd one out. You're the odd one. You've got something wrong with you. And I'm like, guys, it's poison. Yeah. You're poisoning your body. Why am I the odd? Like, why is there something wrong? What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah. Straight poison.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I saw a video of someone saying if they brought alcohol out now in this day and age, it wouldn't even get approved for the things that it does to you. Yeah. But it's just so normalised, and it's just that drinking culture. In Australia and especially New Zealand too, and on trade sites as well. It's just like, beers and we'll stay on site, drink and get in a bag this weekend, and just like the money, first of all, you're spending and what it does to you, and then the person you become when you're on that. It's just it's a tough loop to break.
And it's funny, you go around to like what's that sound?
Turkey on the roof.
Is it? Is it a turkey? But even you go around like trade sites now, or like all the pubs on a Friday afternoon, they're just absolutely full, absolutely packed. But what I love around my friends group is that there's like little bits of people sort of giving up alcohol. And I'm like, it's taken them a while, but I'm like, yes.
I think it's slowly getting there. It's slowly becoming a thing now as more people are getting off the piss and more people are starting to be active and do things in the mornings. And
that's fucking annoying, isn't it? Surely not.
Turkey, bro.
Should we wait? Does Harry want to get a BB gun? It's good? No, I know you can't pick it up, but I can hear it. If you were to tell someone who's sort of struggling with sort of alcohol, what steps would you sort of say to them that would make it really like realistic or really easy for them to sort of?
I think maybe putting yourself in an environment before quitting that you're going to get to, maybe maybe start going to a social setting which do like a run club or like a training on Saturday, like a group class sort of environment, and just meet some people that way. And then when you do get off the alcohol and you're not doing those things, you have something to go to still. So it's not like you're fully lost and it's like, what do I do now? It's straight from here to here, like real quick. You've sort of like eased your way into it. Because I think when you do that straight cut out of your life, it's when you just relapse faster because you're like, oh, I can't do this, and you got to go back.
It's boring, or I've got no one to hang around
with. What
do
I do now? It's like, no, I have to go out and do that. And so I think having something and putting yourself around the right people in the right situations and settings where you can be like, oh, okay, this is okay, like I'm doing this. But obviously, and I think just sticking it out and when you realize like how you feel with a few months off drinking compared to how you did feel, and like your body and like you know your appearance and everything, no brain fog. It's crazy to think that. I couldn't even think now about going out on a Saturday and drinking. Like to me that is so wild. Like on Saturday night, you know, like tonight we're in bed by 8 o'clock and I'm just like, every Saturday I reckon I say to Riley, can you believe these people out drinking tonight? And she's like, yeah, I know.
We'll be in bed together, me and Jordan, and we have this running joke. We're obviously taking the piss, but we'll be like in bed about full sleep, and one of us will go, do you want to get changed and go out tonight?
Yeah, it's a joke, eh? Yeah. Riley says that and she'll be like, yes, which means like, no. We even say the same thing, like, should we get lit tonight? And she's like, we just look at each other and just like, as if that was a thing. Like that used to be like, we're taking the piss.
I remember, so uni nights would be Thursday nights on the coast there, and I obviously have like labouring first thing Friday morning, and my thing was, if I can be home from uni night at 4 a.m, have a 2 hour sleep, up at 6, I'll be able to make it to work and do labouring. That was my mindset. And I was like, if I'm not in bed by 8, I'm
done.
gone, I'm done. If I haven't got at least 8 or 9 hours, I'm done. So it's funny how you sort of adapt and you change and you realise, like, you look back at one time in your life and go, I can't believe I used to do that.
But it's crazy you still got it done. Like, that's what people got to realise. Like, if you can still drink and get that done, imagine what you can do with your life without drinking.
Exactly.
And without doing that. Like, you will just go through the roof with what you can achieve. And seeing people now still doing the same shit 3 years later, I'm like, you have not changed.
No.
Like,
because my thing is, I'm almost obsessed with progression or growth, or every day I'm kind of like, well, I don't want to be the same person I was last year. Like if I'm the same person I was last year, I failed. Like I want to get different. I want to get better and evolve and be the best version of myself. And I think you talked about off camera about sort of social media, and if you lost your social media account, like you'd be fucking devastated. You know? And I feel the same with this. Like growing in like an authentic, audience takes time, takes a lot of effort, it takes consistency. How's your relationship with social media and being authentic and genuine online? Because I've had my battles with it.
It's a battle.
It's a battle. Like
it's a head game.
It is a head game. Like before the podcast, I didn't have any socials. I went through a really bad spot mentally, and when you look on socials, it's that comparison is the thief of joy, and I was sort of looking on it, going, why isn't my life like that? And didn't realize that that's everyone's highlight reel. That's actually not. That's a 1% of real life for them.
Not reality.
So I ended up getting rid of it, and I thought getting rid of social media was going to fix the problem. And it wasn't until I got this podcast and obviously got all my socials back and started engaging and posting and really caring about algorithms and views and that sort of thing. When the problem I had previously, it didn't go away. I just delayed it. I actually didn't deal with the issue itself. So when I got it back and people, I was so hyper fixated on like views and likes and shares and how many people are doing this, because I guess that data, is you need to you need to pay attention to it. But what happened was I was really living for the highs and the lows. So if we did this episode together and someone would say, and I've had people sort of comment going, that episode was shit, and I'd be like, fuck. Like shot to the heart, and I'm like, how many people take out of their time out of their day to comment on that? I'm like, I would never do that. And then someone would, on the exact same episode, someone would say, man, that episode was great, I loved it, and I'll be like, oh, I'm back up here again. And for months, I realized I was like roller coastering. So I'd really feel the lows and really listen to them and go, maybe I've got to change, maybe I've got to talk differently or talk about things differently, or. And then when someone say they liked it, I go, no, I'll be the same. And what I kind of realized was I got to find a neutral ground where I got to appreciate both sides and both opinions, and people are valid, and if you put yourself on socials, you open yourself up to all sorts of different opinions, and they're all valid. Like no one's right or wrong. And so, but what I had to sort of draw the line with is that I couldn't sort of get high when they say something's good, and I couldn't get low when they say something's bad. Like my success comes from the conversation. If I'm happy with it, I want to put it out, and my self-worth isn't tied to it. How have you sort of dealt with online, and have you come across any sort of, I don't know, like everyone gets sort of hate online, but how have you dealt with it?
Yeah, I think initially, like you're saying, when you start growing, putting yourself out there, I think when you first start, people support you and they're like, oh, that's, you're doing the real, that's so cool. But they don't expect you to keep going, it's like just a one-off. And then all of a sudden you keep doing it and it becomes this thing of like, oh, people get a bit like,
Again.
your closest friends are like, oh, well, you know, what are you trying to be, an influencer now? And it's like, what are you trying to do here? And I think for me, like you were saying, that you're trying to please everyone. But I think my biggest thing was that you can't please everyone. Everyone has their opinions. Everyone's different. As long as you do what you know in your heart you align with, and that's who you are as a person, I think that's when you start to grow and you find your audience, and that's your little niche. And obviously I have some certain strong values and ways I want to raise, you know, my kids, and ways I live my life that people don't agree with. So when I post some of the videos, and obviously there's people being like, your son's going to die now because you're not going to get him, you know, vaxxed or whatever you're thinking you're going to do. And then you sort of, at first, you're just like, oh, when I was first getting these comments, I'd be like, what the hell, you know, you want to hit back with a comment, but I'm just like, that's just the way I live my life. And if you don't want to follow me and be a part of my journey, that's actually good, because why would I want you a part of that anyway if you're just not going to be?
I'm attracting the people that are in my.
But then on the flip side, I might lose 100 because of that post, but I gain 1,000 because so many people like love this. Yes, great, and the other people I want in my corner. But content and social media it's the biggest roller coaster.
It's
like
such a roller
I'll make
coaster.
a reel. I'll spend 2 hours editing this thing, and I'm like, this is the one. This is gonna make me 2,000 views, and you're like, what the hell? You know what? It just flopped, nothing, and you're just like there going, the hell. And then you see someone, you get really stuck in a like comparing trap, like especially someone on the same sort of, you know, you find other accounts on the same level as you, and they might spike up followers, and you do the same thing, and you're trying to copy them but a bit different, and you just get stuck in this like you said, view watching, like watching, and it just becomes this pattern where I've fallen out of it, like love for socials. I've only been doing it like a year now, and I've had pretty good good growth, I think, and in a way that a healthy growth. Like I haven't you know, everyone who's come into my world as such as I feel like supportive, and I get you know, the people I want in there, but you do get stuck in comparing and not wanting to do it. I've had times where I'm like, I'm done, you know, I'm fucking hate this. This is it. And you know, I'm gonna quit socials, and then you know, you have a week off, and then you get back into it, and then you see, you know, some highs where you have a week of like, you might have grown a couple thousand, holy, like I'm on,
we're on,
you know,
how
I'm
good's
on.
this?
And then people, you know, but for me, I think it's people out in the public that come up to me and they say, oh, I love your content, you know, what you did with your run, or what you're doing with you showing life after cancer. Like, you know, I was affected by cancer, or my dad had it, and this is what I do now. I've started running. That's where I'm like, wow, like
that's the real thing.
That's the real thing to me, is that it's actually having a positive effect. Because as much as online, you don't really see too much, but when people start coming up to you and saying, like, see your content, I love it. Plus, it's made me do this, and I feel like now I'm having a positive effect on people.
It's the best. It's the best feeling, Because I had it for the first time last year. I went to a 660 concert in Brisbane, and obviously a lot of Kiwis, a lot of Islanders, a lot of big brown people. And I had this. My mate, we left and we were sort of walking, and there was a couple of Tongans in front of us, and they were fucking giggling and stuff. And then one of them just turned around and started looking at me, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. Like, I got my keys and my wallet. Shit, I was like stereotyping, and I was like, fuck, here we go. I was like, what's gonna happen? And they were pretty drunk, and I was thinking, oh, did I play footy with them? Like, what was he eyeballing me for? And he came up, and he was just like came to give me a hug, and I was like, hey mate, and he's just like, fuck bro, I love your podcast, I absolutely love it. And I was like, oh, do you? And I was like, do you listen to it? He's just like, yeah, I watch every episode, it's the best. And I was like, fuck, thanks man. Like some days where you think this is tough, like do I want to keep doing it? It's a lot of money, like a lot of time, like I'm sort of investing a lot in this, and some days you're like, oh, is it gonna be worth it? Like you sort of question, you're like, oh, I'd love it to be, but sometimes you think, oh, it'd be a lot easier if I, you know, if this
didn't have to worry about
it. And it's not until you have those moments like that with people that you think, oh, this is exactly what I'm doing it. Like I fucking love this thing. Like it goes far beyond, you know, posting and, you know, wanting to get, you know, a lot of outreach and social, which is important, but it goes far beyond that when someone comes up to you and says, fuck dude, like that conversation you had was, you know, with someone that made me sort of have a chat, or that's made me seek help, or that's, you know, initiated some sort of positive change in my life. I'm like, oh fuck, this is exactly why I do it. Like we can get so tied up on in the views and stuff, when we actually sometimes we forget the real reason why we do these things is like that impact you can have on real people in real time, and go, well, just by watching our content, their life has changed, and you think, fuck, this is actually like what we should be doing. But yeah, you can get caught up in the bullshit sometimes.
I know, but I also think it's like it's good too, because, you know, when you hit different milestones on your socials too, you might get to 5K and you're
Yeah.
like, at 1.5K was like, no way,
kidding?
I'll
I'm
get
not
there. And
there.
you get to 10, you know, and you keep going. So it's
Yeah.
cool when like
Yeah.
you're progressing and you're working on something. And it also gives you like, for me also, when I do some of my double training days, I try to tell people this, and I see people, I feel like content now is, a lot of people are starting to make content, and everyone, you know, a few of my mates are starting, and it almost holds me accountable. And I tell people, like, if you do a double training day, you have to do that now. Because what are you going to film? I slept until 8 and I went to work and home. Like, you did nothing.
It's
you know?
proof.
Yeah, but
and people are watching too.
Yeah, people are watching.
And
They're
they'll
going to
ask.
comment and be like, you know, you did this. But when I'm like, I tell myself the day before, all right, tomorrow's a double training day. I'm going to work, I'm going to film it, this is it. And now I have to do it because I've told myself I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to now hold it accountable because I want to make a good video and show people that I'm training. So in a way, it's like, it keeps you actually accountable on top of your shit. And
you spoke about sort of giving up alcohol earlier on and how, you know, you wanted to make these changes and be the best partner you can be to Riley. Do you want to talk about that relationship and how you guys met and the impact that she's had on your life?
We met back when I was 16 and 14 or 17, way back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, surf lifesaving.
Where at?
Nah, Noosa Surf Club.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So met there. Wasn't too long before I got sick actually. We moved to Noosa and then, so I was fine there training and we sort of kicked it off right away and got along with her well, and then obviously got sick pretty early on in that. And to me, I didn't want to drag anyone into that scene. So when she came, I was like, you don't have to be here. Like, I would rather you go, and you don't want to be a part of this, especially the way I'm going to look. And you know, you care about your looks when you're 17. And I didn't want to see her, you know, see me looking like this. And like, so grateful for her. She was the whole time. She did not care. Like, she saw me for me. You know, whether I looked how I did sick or now, it didn't matter. It was like me. So she was been on this journey the whole time, and I think that's why we have such a, you know, strong bond and relation. It's so different to everyone else as well. It's like our little thing that she's been through everything with me. We've been through so many seasons. I feel like every year is a different version of ourselves where we've had to like navigate and adjust to that. And she was obviously into her business at a young age and a lot more developed mentally than I was, you know. She was very, as most men, our frontal lobe's not developing till later. Like, she was business and making money and her dreams of a house and like, let's go. And I was very like, I'm doing my apprenticeship and I hate it, and I just like want to get through the weeks and sleep on the weekends and not do too much. I sort of lost that perspective and those values I had once I finished cancer. You know, I sort of just got stuck in this work-life routine where it was just work, and then weekends were shitty, and then back to work in this cycle where she was like building something and
very driven, focused.
Very driven, And she's always trying to get me into like, you know, you should try to do this or you should start journaling. And I was like, no, I'll shut it down. Like, shit, I'm not doing that. So I think, we've just been through so many different seasons together, and we ended up got to a point where we took a year off, which we look back now, and I think we both needed that time. You know, we were so young when we met, and we, you know, I just wanted to make choices for myself that I think every male needs to learn and have that experience. And I think if it wasn't then, it would have, you know, maybe happened later on in life. But we've been
very mature to have like that sort of
and I'm so grateful for her.
Yeah.
Like, she's so just very mature in those ways and sees beyond, you know, what happened to cause the year apart. You know, she's just really
a lot of self-reflection and stuff.
And, you know, there was a lot on like me, and a lot. She also says, you know, there were things I did. It was not just like blame game. It's like what we both did these things, and it got to this point, and this is what happened, and it exploded, and now it's like coming back together. It's the best we've ever been, you know. I got engaged, you know, now, and
it's so cool.
See a baby on the way, and like just so many things are moving and in the right direction. Is the better than we've ever been, and we're just both so excited to like, you know, the life that's happening in front of us. So.
What have you learned about choosing the right life partner?
No, it's everything. Especially think for men, you know, having someone supportive in your corner, supporting you.
The biggest cheerleader.
It then motivates you. You want to do things for her. You want to do things for the family. It's like, she's never been, you know, everyone always talks about, your anchor dragging you down, the ball and chain, you know. Like, why are you with her then? You know, like, if that's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, she's always like, go do your thing. Like, she's in my corner pushing me. Like, she knows I need to do these certain things and these, you know, events and the runs and do these challenges for myself. So on the flip side, she gets the best partner she can have in return, and that's the way, you know, I need to show up for myself to show up for her.
Yeah.
So it's having someone understand who you are as a person, I think is the biggest thing. Like a lot of people just date on face value and you know, same sort of similar hobbies, but if you actually break it down and dive into like, who are you as a person and what
friends?
do you need?
Yeah,
Like, are you friends? Can you hang out? Like,
yeah.
She's the only person I can hang out with all day.
Same.
And,
yeah,
it's
I
all
love
good,
that, eh?
You know, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of mates will go traveling with their partners and stuff, and they go, "How do you guys do it for 4 weeks?" I go, "Mate, I'd love doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I love hanging around there. We can not do anything, and it's the best time ever. Like,
Best friend.
It's a best friend. Like, I enjoy it so much, and I think, you know, one of the biggest lessons I learned is choosing the right life partner, but also you got to be friends and actually want to hang around with each other. And that notion around like the ball and chain, I'm just like, mate, if 99% of the time, if you don't have positive things to say about your partner, you know, I think you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
like you should be your partner's biggest, you know, cheerleader. You should be lifting them up. You should be encouraging them to chase their dreams and focus on what they want to, you know, what they want to do out of life. If you don't have that, I think you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, and then even bringing problems, like people always talk, I have mates, you know, oh, they did this or they did this, and it's like, well, now my perception of her is that you've only told me everything she's done bad. So it's like, I think she's so bad, but it's like, you might be good behind the scenes, but it's like, figure your shit out behind the scenes, and just, if you're good, you're good, you know, like if people only hear the bad about you, they're going to make their own little judgment on like, this person's terrible, when in fact they could be good, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Definitely super important who you pick in your life.
What does a healthy relationship look like for you?
I think having your time together and being present in that time. It's not just sitting there scrolling. Like we really try to like sit down, have dinner together, and we talk about our days, and we use the time we get to, you know, find out like how'd you go today. You know, we really break down our goals, what we want to do, where we want to go, and how you're feeling. But then also having your time as well, that you can go do things with your friends or do things on your own, whatever you need to do to get right as well. I think you need to have that balance.
For sure,
if it's just like, oh, I'm going to go here, and it's like, oh, you can take me? Like, where am I? What am I going to do? It's like, well, fuck you.
Whatever you want to do.
Be a baby you the whole time, you know? You need to be your own person.
For sure.
She's really good in that sense too, where she's, you know, done her business, and she has multiple businesses, and she has a purpose herself. It's not just to be, her purpose isn't be like, oh, I'm T's partner. Like she's Riley, she's her own person, she has her own life and job and everything going. And I'm me and my own person. We just come together and we have this relationship.
A great team,
we're
for
a
sure.
team in the middle. So you got to have, you know, each side. You can't just fully lose yourself and just become someone's partner. You have to have your own drive and purpose and keeping you know, feeling good. So,
what did you have to unlearn to be a better partner?
Unlearn. What do you have to unlearn? And then I'll get some.
Heaps.
Yeah?
Yeah, heaps. I reckon a lot of clashes that we had was me thinking that I was right all the time or having an ego about myself. So in arguments, healthy relationship arguments, I thought I was always right. Yeah. You know, I thought, this is you're the problem, or you did the problem. And I was very immature when we first started dating. I was very immature emotionally to recognize that the things that your partner brings up are the things that you haven't healed inside you. So they're your biggest mirrors. So whatever she does to trigger you, they're just things that you haven't healed before, but you like to blame it on them. And she was so, and she still is, but she was so understanding and compassionate and too nice to me to sort of let me get away with that at the start, where she would be like, okay, yeah, it was me. You know, and it wasn't until like maybe 4 or 5 years ago where she really started to like push back, and she saw that I needed to change, and I needed to sort of understand that the things that I'm sort of blaming her for and I'm getting angry at are the things inside me that I'm angry at internally, but I just haven't sort of got the awareness or recognized yet. So I think the biggest thing for me was just like when arguments come up and things that annoy me or whatever like that, we have a conversation about it, and then I actively put effort into recognizing that, identifying what the thing is. A lot of it's from childhood. A lot of like the things that come up that triggered me are just things from childhood. And now I just recognize that. I dive into it. I communicate with Jordan as best as I possibly can to say, this isn't a you thing. This is a me thing. It might seem like I'm taking it out on you, but this is a me thing, and I'll actively work to get better. So I think and that comes with putting your ego down and
Yeah.
a lot of pride with men that they're sort of like, no, I didn't,
Yeah.
this isn't me, like
Yeah.
this is a you thing. But I think I had to release a lot of ego, a lot of pride, and understand that I've got some shit to work on, and the work never stops. It's a daily practice for me to sort of thaw out those things, but it's a daily practice. I want to get better. Like I'm addicted to growth. I was telling you about it. So when something comes up, it's not like a problem for me anymore. It's kind of like an opportunity to go, oh, all right, well, that's a new thing I get to like work on. There's a new thing that I get to fix or to get better at.
Yeah. I think that I'm definitely the same.
Definitely same, yeah.
I think taking accountability for my actions and really owning up and being like, that was me, you know, for some of the things I was like, like you try to push them away, and it wasn't until I really said, you know what, I fucked up. That was me. I'm taking accountability for that, and now I'm going to make a change to be better. That's when you can sort of, you know, better the relationship. And I think also the tit for tat thing, you know, when you hear them say something, you instantly, as I don't know if it's a human thing, just snap back and be like, well, you did this. And then it's like, well, you did this. And you just go on this full circle of like, what are we achieving? And then it's not till you get older and you're both more aware that we even sometimes say to each other, like, we'll just come over and just hug each other and not talk for like, you know, and just have a big hug. And we both like, look, I'm sorry for what I did. She'll be like, yes, you know, what I did also was wrong, and let's talk about, you know, how this cannot happen again. And then you move forward from that, and that's a little bit of the brick in the wall being fixed, you know, and then you never really have to circle back to that because now you both have that understanding, and next time you do it, it's not this hour of wasting time where you're going back and forth. It's a quick, okay, look, I had to do that because of this. We know why. Let's move on.
It'll be hopefully a new thing. Like I tell to Jordan that these fights that we have, these arguments, I call them getting to know you fights. You know, and they are like they're getting to know each other a bit more. And as long as we don't keep arguing about the same thing, if we argue about something, we resolve it. I make sure that she's heard and seen, and same with me, and then we move on. And then there'll be something else. There's always something else, but I feel like that is growth. I'm getting to know her more, and like you talk about, you know, you've been with someone for so long that we evolve and change over time. So what I don't think people realize is that you're almost falling in love with a new version of them every couple of years. Like she's about to be a new mum. She's got a big belly at the moment. You're falling in love with this new version, a whole different version of you. Like how's that? Especially sort of going to this big chapter of fatherhood. You know, we mentioned down at the beach. You're obviously looking forward to it. Can't wait for that moment.
So excited.
So excited.
Can't wait. We're just counting down the days. It's something that we've always talked about. You know, kids. Me and Riley have always spoken about kids in the future and having a family, and I think now it's happening. It's like holy, like we actually just can't wait. But it was also something that was always destined that we had planned, and it's just so exciting. But like I was saying, it was like for me, I don't think it's going to hit me till the baby's like screaming in my face, where I'm like,
you're down the business end,
you know, I'm like, this is actually happening. Obviously, for I'm still going to work. I'm still training physically wise. Nothing's changed, and for her, she's obviously carrying the baby, and it's changing every day. It's just crazy, like all the different changes.
What scares you most about fatherhood, if anything? What scares you most?
I think my son. Obviously, we're having a boy, but one day, if he's ever in this situation, talking about like how he was raised, you know. And it's just like, damn, what's he going to say? You know, I'll be sitting there like, hope you better say something good, you know.
Hope I've done something right.
I did something good, and it's so hard to know, you know. And I think, like what we think with our parents, you think they're doing, in their eyes, they're doing everything the right way to them. That's, you know, the best they can do. So I hope the best I can do for my son and my future kids is, you know, really worth it, and really sets them up to succeed in life, and everything they get from it, they can sit there and be like, Mum and Dad were great, like, you know, that's probably the scariest thing, is that you might get to it and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, you know. And it's not till you get older and our parents' age now where they look back and go, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that. Like, I don't want too many of the I probably shouldn't have done that moments. So
I read somewhere that like I think Matthew McConaughey was saying one of the best successes that you'll feel from a father is that when your kids are all grown up and they want to spend time with you, they want to be your friend. And I feel that with Mum and Dad, that I see them when I'm back from work, I see them every single day. Like I can't wait to hang out with them. And that relationship was never like that. No. It only sort of came to be when I was about 30, when I actually done a lot of work myself and understanding who my parents are. and even watching them get older and realizing we haven't got much time with our parents. Like, I know that it seems like, you know, they've got plenty of years left, but when have you actually going to spend time with them?
Like quality time.
Quality time with them. So I'm spending as much time with my parents now as much as I possibly can. Is there anything that you want to do differently as a father than how your father were like to you? How long we got?
He'll probably bloody slap me if I say too much. I never want to like say it in the fact that like I wish, you know, it's never I wish he did this moment. But there's like, I think just being present, unfortunately, you know, with his work and what he had to do, he had to work overseas, and I just wanted someone that's around and present, you know. So for me, I think that's now a big emphasis on how I want to be around and how I want to show up for my kids, is just being that present dad. And like you said, almost be a mate, but they also respect you in the way that you're a father too. And when dad says no, like it's a look and it's like, you know, like they respect me and they know that you're the man in the house and that's just how it's going to go. But they also have a voice, and if they want to voice something in a way that they don't feel is fair, let's talk about it and we can have that, you know, discussion.
Because you know, always my dad was to me that, you know, when you go out partying and stuff, dad would always be like, if you've got, I don't care what time of the morning it is, if you're in trouble, call me. Yeah. You know, and I took him up on that too many times. They'll be like, you know, like 4 a.m, Dad's like, was there something wrong, or you just needed a lift? He goes, I just needed a lift.
Yeah, just need a lift.
So, but I really want to have that relationship with my children that, you know, they can call me any time of the day, any time of the night. If they're in trouble, if they need anything, I'll always, you know, I want them to call me rather than, you know, someone else, or get in a car with someone else, or make poor decisions just because they're too scared to sort of, you know, call me and ask their dad for help. So I always want to have that open relationship with my kids, that they can come to me no matter what.
And it is kind of scary. Like, you know, I think back of the things I was doing when I was a kid, you're just like, bro, that's so dumb. And I know I'm not going to be able to parent them out of that. They're going to have to do that. They're going to go party. They're going to probably do drugs. Touch the pan.
Fire.
It's going to be hot. I can tell them all they want, but I'm going to... It'll probably be more of like a, hey guys, I know you're going to drink. I know this is going to be something you'll want to try do. So let's talk about how you can do it safely, or if you need me to like drop you off at the party and pick you up. I know it's going to happen. Like, let's not be sneaking out. Like, we can...
Have some
I want
trust
it to be,
there.
let's build a trust. But as soon as that trust is broken, then that's when we have a problem. But if we can, build trust and everyone's open and communication's great, then hopefully it'll be fine. So.
If your boy grows up and he watches this episode back, what do you hope that he'll take away from it?
I hope everything that I've talked about, he can look back and be like, that's exactly how it was. I hope he obviously draws some values from this and realizes if his health is great still to this point, which touch wood it is, how lucky, you know, he has that perspective, and that's something that I want to put into them as well and teach them, is that you are very lucky. And even just being born in Australia, like where we are, is just
what a blessing,
so many things you can be grateful for, and I think people focus too much on what they don't have. It's like, what do you have? If you have a healthy body, you go to work, you have a car, your work might suck, but you're getting paid, you have a job, like it's great. So I think if he can look back and see all that and really be like, they gave me the best childhood, and he was present, and he was all the things he said he was going to be on this podcast. I think that'll be a moment I'll be like proud of. So
well, quickly before we finish, we'll get into the 100k run that you did.
Yeah.
How was it? You know, obviously you were running for leukemia. Oh, sorry, you were running for
Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish. Sorry. Was that like a big plan a couple of years ago? Like, when did that sort of come into your mind that you wanted to run 100? And why 100Ks?
Yeah. I think obviously when I came back with Riley, and I'd found a lot more of myself and what I wanted to do, and like what was my purpose in life. I never really wanted to touch too much on the cancer stuff. It was something I pushed away and didn't want to open up again.
Oh,
but
right.
Now that I've, I think matured a bit, and people, get to be like, wow, you did this, and I can be someone that they can look to and provide maybe that little bit of hope they need to get through their journey. It's made me want to talk about it and really show people that there is life after cancer, and it's just a season of your life, and you're going to be okay, and you mentally just have to prepare yourself for it, but you will be fine. And then I think with the 10-year mark coming up, it was sort of like, what can I do? I've always loved challenges and pushing myself physically, almost a way to prove to people that just because I had cancer, it doesn't make me any different. Like, I want to prove to you that I'm normal, if not better, and I want to do that. So I thought 10 years, 100K is a good run challenge, and I was dabbling in some running, and I sort of just snowballed the idea, like, about I run 100K? And it was something I always wanted to do. Like I was just going to, like you said, you
Yeah.
woke up that morning, you're like, I'm just going to run to Noosa and back.
Yeah.
You know, you just have these weird things
Yeah,
where I'm
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I was going to run 100.
Yeah.
And
And
then
when
it
your mind's set on it, there's
Yeah.
no coming back from it, eh?
Yeah. When I tell myself something,
Yeah.
like I make sure when I tell myself, if I say the night before I'm going for a run, 10Ks, I have to do 10Ks because if you let that slide, you let that slide once, that's just going to build a pattern where you are comfortable or you're fine with.
It's going to manifest in all areas of your
Yeah,
life.
all areas,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm just going to work 6 hours and you do 4. It's like, now you're letting that slide,
Yeah.
you're just letting areas of your
Yeah.
life drop away. You're going to
Yeah.
fall down to that level you're putting yourself at. So for me, yeah, 100Ks I wanted to do, and it was something, I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then it was like, why don't we, you know, make something of it?
Yeah.
It's cool, 10 years.
Yeah.
And it could be a good way of raising money and awareness. And then obviously starting socials, I built a little bit of a following.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I think I could do something really cool with
Yeah.
this. And I only get the 10-year mark comes around once in my life, you know, and I knew if I didn't do something, I would look back and regret it,
Yeah.
not doing something with that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's do this, and snowballed into let's run, where should we run? And then obviously into the event it was
Yeah.
with getting all the sponsors. We had over 30 sponsors on
How,
board.
how
and-
good? Like, did that make you feel good just watching so much support? Obviously for you, for the cause, for everything like that, but seeing so many people show out for you, it would have been almost overwhelming to
Yeah, it
see
was-
so much love.
It was crazy.
Was
and-
it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think obviously I had the idea like 4 months out, and the behind the scenes work was like so much trying to set it
It would've
up.
been
like
heaps,
man, that was
yeah.
more. It got to a point where I was like, I just want to run.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
all the
that's gonna be
emails
easier.
with the brands and trying to
Yeah,
organize.
yeah.
Like, I organized it all. Like
Yeah.
I now understand why events managers get paid because
Yeah.
that was a full-time job. Like I barely worked January just organizing shit, and I was like over it. And I'm a person that like all the techie stuff. I'm not like, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like
Yeah.
come on. And Riley was really good with ChatGPT, like helping me
Yeah, yeah.
make
Navigate that
processes
space.
a lot
Yeah,
quicker.
yeah.
But yeah, it got to a point where, you know, it sort of built a bit of traction, and then people were saying, you know, oh, I'm coming down, and you know, love what you're doing, the run. And I still thought, you know, like I might get maybe 50 people would be cool, like you know, and raise. The goal was 25 grand, and
Yeah.
that was sort of a big goal still.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
25,000, and it sort of was very slow, but it wasn't until that month out where it started building traction as it gets closer. You know, people
Yeah.
were like, yep, and then the money got up, and
How much did you raise?
26 and a half.
Sick.
Yeah, by
So
the end of
good.
it, which was so cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
especially like it was, I think obviously the story that I could relate to, you know, Make-A-Wish helped me during my treatment.
Yeah.
And me giving back to the same foundation that helped me through my cancer, like I think it touched a lot of people in a way that it was very close to home. And that was the goal of the whole thing, was to make people, you know, take something away from their day, you know,
Yeah.
and make people feel. I think that a lot of people don't really feel, let the emotions really, you know, feel something. And it was on the day people were being like, I watched YouTube and I like cried, and people on the day were crying,
Yeah.
and people were like, wow, like it was just such a cool day. It was like more than anything I, you know, could have imagined.
Yeah.
And to me, it was never about like me, you know, it wasn't
Yeah.
about like, look at me do 100.
No, no,
Like,
no.
that wasn't the last thing I wanted anyone to, you know, take away from it. It was to show people that you've got so much more capable in you. You just got to unlock it and realize you just got to do it and just have a go and just have a crack.
Like all your mates, they all did PBs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys were doing 50, 30,
yeah.
20, and it was the day was like 33 UV12, no wind.
Oh, mate.
Cooking.
I remember the day. I think
Just-
I got back from work or something, and I seen it on the socials, and I was like, no, I couldn't even go outside. Like
Yeah,
it was
so
just,
hot.
it was so muggy and hot.
Everyone, like I was running, and you're looking at the boys' backs, it was just red. We were just a group of fried bloody
Yeah.
tomatoes running around, and yeah, did the first 50 by me and a mate, and then we opened it up to a community lap. So like 250 people show up for
Yeah.
a community lap and do
So- I
10K,
seen it, it
and
was so
my
good, eh?
colleges came, and
Yeah.
both of them, which was so cool, like seeing them, you know,
After 10
10
years?
years, you know, when they saw me being sick, and then now, and that was the moment
That
that,
would've
like
been-
broke me.
Oh,
I was just
bro.
like- I
It
said,
might-
I'm not going to cry
Yeah.
halfway. I'm not going to cry, bro, full cry.
Did you?
Yeah, cried heaps. I was like, dude, I just let it out now, you know, like I feel like it's
Well,
a little bit of healing.
Do you
every time I do
imagine
it.
them seeing you 10 years ago and seeing the state you're in, and then 10 years later to be running 100 Ks? They would have gone, no one does this after leukemia. You know what I mean?
No. And then when I was going through it, I had so many questions to them too. You
Mm.
know, I used to be like, what can I do? Can I play rugby? Can I do this? And they would always be like, don't really
Don't
know.
know. Yeah, don't know.
But that's where I was like, now I have this opportunity to show people, and I'm almost like the test dummy for myself. You know, I'm
Yeah.
going to do all this crazy stuff,
Yeah.
and I got plans of doing things way harder. And they even said like, oh, we actually use you as a story to tell kids now that you can get to this, and that we show your account. And I'm like, that's what I want.
That's
like,
the best.
That's the shit that these
Yeah.
kids need.
You're giving
that
them
they can
hope.
And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
slightest bit of mental change in their journey can be the life and death situation.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
It's
just
gonna
a
make a
small
difference.
little bit of thing. So for me, hearing that, that's all I care about is, you know, helping the path the next unfortunately, cancer every day people get diagnosed, it's never going to end, you know. So being that person people can look to and take something away from, and realize that you can do these things. And even for healthy people that are fine now, they say, I didn't realize, you know, I could do this, or you made me start running, and just find that little bit more in themselves, you know. It's just
Yeah, for
the
sure.
best thing.
Love that. We're just going to finish off with some quick fire questions. So, what's your 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life?
3 non-negotiables.
Top 3.
Top 3.
I'm sure you got a number of them.
Yeah, top 3. Fitness and prioritising your health.
Yep.
Positive relationship.
Love that.
For me, that also carries over into everything.
Yep.
And appreciating the friends and family you have in your life that mean something to you, because they're not forever, especially your parents and stuff. So
love that.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest day of your life?
probably being diagnosed with leukemia.
Hardest
Hearing
day.
that news.
Yeah. How have you defined success?
I think I define success off the effect I have on other people and what they can take away after having a conversation or meeting me. If they leave being like, wow, that's someone I want to be around, or someone I respect or appreciate, that's, for me, that's all I care about. You know, it's not about the money and the cars and the house. It's what I leave people with after being in touch with them.
Yeah. How you make people feel?
I think I can motivate people and make them realise that they've got a lot more that they don't realise they have in them.
Love that. What's your proudest moment?
Proudest moment? I think the day of the 100, finishing the 100 and then
Was it?
proposing to Riley, and then having...
You did that on the same day?
Yeah.
You ran the 100 and then proposed to her?
1 RM reverse lunge, bro.
Was that rough?
Yeah, bro, it's freaking. But I think I had
Did you get up?
I had to do it. I did it at Pier 33, and there was a fence, so I made sure the location. Bro,
So what you could...
So I went down and just grabbed the fence like secretly, bro. And I had these loafers on,
Yeah.
and they're like tight leather shoes, bro. I had to cut the backs of the shoes out so my toes wouldn't hit the front. They were so tight, so they were like these slide-on loafers. And then as I went down on one knee, the whole back blew out, bro. The photos there, I'm like, my loafers all flopped off, and got down and proposed to her. But I think
What a big day.
Yeah, bro, huge day. So like that's probably the day that I'll look back on
love
and
that.
be like, that was and mum and dad there, and my mum and dad haven't spent time with her parents for like years because obviously everyone been in the same room with work and stuff.
Oh, what a beautiful moment, eh?
So I think I just had so much adrenaline.
Yeah.
After that moment, I couldn't walk. That's when my body said, "No, you're done.
You're
shut
done."
down." But I think it just savoured this energy in
'cause
me
you knew.
because I knew all day.
I had to do this.
And that was also what got me half of it getting through the run. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't not do 100 and then like propose. I failed in
Yeah,
myself.
she'll say no.
She'll say no. You know, it's embarrassing. Like I have to do this. You know?
Yeah.
And I used that in the
It was
run.
motivation.
And I knew we were booked in at 5. I
Yeah.
was like, I have to be done in like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Because I got to go shower, shave. I got to get back. Like I have to get.
Oh, I love
so in my
that.
mind, when I'm at like K70,
I got to hurry up.
I've got to hurry, bro. And it turned from a walk to this shuffle, man. Like I got to get this shit going. So
Last one. Who's your hero?
who's my hero? Probably my dad.
Is he?
Yeah. Definitely. Just everything he's done for us as a family and what he's put aside to let us live this life and get to where I am today is, he's made the biggest sacrifice for us all.
For sure. So I have a closing tradition of the podcast where I don't ask the last question. I get friends and family, they send in questions for the guest.
Oh, yeah? For the next person?
For you.
Oh.
So I've got a question sent in for you. Where are we? So we've got your beautiful fiance, Riley. Do I hold up to that, do you reckon?
What's one piece of advice you would give men who feel like they lack follow through as someone who is very honest and always their word?
Good question. Good question.
Can I hear it again?
You can hear it again.
She always has the good questions.
Doesn't she?
What's one piece of advice you would give men who feel like they lack follow through as someone who is very honest and always their word?
It's a tough question,
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
is a tough question.
Yeah.
She knows that about me because, like we were saying earlier, is when I say I'm going to do something and follow through, you get it done. I think you build that little bit of self-trust in yourself that it just becomes who you are. And
By small moments, like
small little
small
moments.
actions.
Whether
yeah.
it's I'm going to get up this morning and have a walk. If you get up and have that walk, you have now done something you said you were going to do, and that snowballs into everything outside of that moment. Like you might think it's nothing, and it's not really a big moment, but I think for men that let it slide, it'll get to a point where your world just explodes, and you get to a place where you're not even proud of yourself. And I think being proud of yourself as a man is the biggest thing to success for us. Like if we're proud of who we are, we can stand up straight and walk into a room knowing that no matter what anyone else thinks, I know I've got me, and I know where I'm at is the best possible place I can be. That's all you need, and that's what you can do a lot of things with. You know who you are.
It's interesting because like a lot of guys will go, I want to do these big dramatic changes in my life, and then it only lasts a couple of months and they're back to square one again. And I'm like, just do little incremental changes, get that 1% better over the course of years, and then you'll see like the big change in your life. It doesn't have to be these massive, dramatic changes.
Yeah, and I think like a year, people think a year, that's ages. Like, bro, a year is like that. Like, I can't believe I'm 27 now. You know, like I swear I was just getting sick, 10 years ago. And it's like we're 27, and how much can change in a year? Like last year I started content, and this whole journey, and where I'm at now, I'm like, oh, that's 1 year. Like imagine doing 5 years of this and where I want to be. So I think, for men that just lack that follow through, you just definitely just start small, build on it every day, build on it every year, little things, and build a routine that you can also complete and it's not out of reach, and then before you know it, a year will pass and you'll look back at that old version and be like, I can't believe I was like that, or that seems so far away from where you are now, and you're still so far away from where you can be. So that's the biggest thing.
T, thank you so much for coming on today, mate. It's a pleasure to get to know you on a more personal level and have a good chat today. I'm in awe of the things that you've sort of been through in your mindset around life, and I can't wait to see you be a father. I'm sure we'll keep in touch, and
for sure.
We can bounce ideas off each other and figure out how to
catch up.
Yeah, we'll be in the Hurt Locker together. So, mate, appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Mind Your Head. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really supports the show and helps others discover us. Don't forget to join us on Instagram and TikTok at mindyourhead.podcast. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we record this podcast, the Gubbi Gubbi people. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Indigenous peoples. We honour their enduring connection to the land, waters and culture, and recognise their invaluable contributions they make to our communities. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.